Okay, so now, now we gotta slip that back up in there. This whole thing, this whole kit and caboodle is gonna have to fit up there, and I'm probably gonna have to strip the wires back further than what they are and all that kind of stuff. I should actually strip the wires down here, well, I might for this. I think I'm going to. I'm going to strip these wires back a little bit because there's only about 1/4 inch of stranded wire showing on these, and I like to have it a little bit more than that. Plus the ground wires, I've got to connect all those up. But remember, this is going to go in up here, and it slips. See, it's going to slip right up in here, and there's a little antenna wire on this. Good grief! I'm going to have to rearrange the wires or push these wires up out of the way. This thing's got to fit up in there, and it should. That's how all the other ones are. I might have to, come on. Okay, there. Wow. That's a tough little fit, but see, it slid in there. And that's where that kind of lives, like right up in there, see? And then all of these wires, you have to get hooked up, and then they get kind of pushed up in and around here and out of the way and stuff for this trim. See, this trim has to fit up and around there afterwards. But I'm gonna look at this and decide. I think I'm going to take this down, and I'm going to strip all these wires down here, and then I'm going to strip, well, look at this, make a determination if I have to cut these wires a little bit shorter. In fact, I should have done that while I had that up there. Man, that's a tight fit. Too bad those wires didn't go in a different direction, but that's okay. It'll work. So I look at these wires, the ones that I cut rough, see, and where these are, we'll wrap around like that. I can do something right in here, and then kind of, I got to have enough room to kind of push some of that wire up in there. Maybe I'll leave them the same length as they are, because I think I can kind of push them up in there, up in that hole or something. And I think I'm going to leave that length for now. I'm going to just strip these down here. I'm walking up over a bed, and the less stripping of wires, the better. And see this here. Once I strip these wires back, see, there's not very much that they have sticking out. Okay, that's not very far. I'm going to make it a little bit further so that when I connect them, I'll get a nicer little connection. I'll just strip off maybe another 1/16 to an eighth of an inch, probably, all of those. And then the ground wires, I think I might, there's 2 of these that are ground wires. See, they stripped those and they leave the ends. And you see, they're kind of short too, because remember, I have to connect 4 stranded wires like this together before I connect it up to that main ground wire up in the ceiling. Now you know why we put that that pigtail and that ground wire way up there. Okay, so we had enough room to connect all these wires. Okay, I'm getting ready to put this back up. I've got all these wires stripped, and usually when I strip it, then I twist it all together. Am I ready to install this now? No. You remember, we have to set a new code. And I installed one of these ceiling fans once upon a time, and I forgot to change the code, dabbity nabbit. So after I got everything installed and got all the wires up there and everything, I had to take the whole thing down because I forgot to reset the code. So I've got to look at the directions. I got to reset this as well as the handheld remote. Then I can hook everything up as I told you before. Okay, I'm ready to wire this. I'm not going to show you that up there, but I am going to show you. Remember, there's only one black and one white wire here, and on the black it says AC in or AC in L, which is the load. This one, the white wire says AC in, which is the neutral, so the black goes to black up in the ceiling. Actually, the black here is going to the red up in the ceiling because the red is the power up there, remember? And then the white goes to white. The two ground wires, I'm going to connect the other two ground wires, and then all 5 of these, it has what they're on there, but I've got these 5 wires, and the 5 wires that were in the ceiling fan extension pole coming from the motor are all color coordinated. So brown to brown, blue to blue, red to red, you know, all that. Don't put this red one here that's coming, that needs to go to the motor, to the power. You're going to use the black wire. Okay, so if you got a black up there in your ceiling, black to black, white to white. Okay, and the ground's to ground. Right? Okay, and we're just not using the black wire up there. We're using the red power wire up there as previously explained. If you didn't see that part of the video, go back and watch that, and I explain all those wires at the beginning of the project. Okay, this is the little antenna, and it just needs to be pushed up in there. And I guess this has a 2 ground wires because one of the grounds, see, is attached to this metal backing plate, and then one of the ground wires is just the ground that's inside of this black plastic. Some of these don't have a metal on the back, and so they don't have that extra ground wire. Okay, well, there's 2 ground wires that happen to be on this little module. You got to have that module, and that module is for the handheld remote for this whole ceiling fan. Are all ceiling fans created equal? No. I put a ceiling fan in downstairs. It was a different brand. This happens to be Fanimation brand. The other one was oh, I forget what it was now. Anyways, it's a popular brand, and it was at Lowe's. And that one, all I had to do was hook up a black wire and a white wire that was coming from the ceiling fan to the power up there, and it bypassed this whole box, and everything was up inside the ceiling fan housing. But the ceiling fan housing was way different than this one. It was a big, huge thing that went up to the ceiling, and I've got that on my channel too. This just happens to be a different brand. Okay, so sometimes you have to install this remote. And incidentally, if you have a standard ceiling fan, an old ceiling fan, but you want to make it remote, you can. Did you know that? You can buy something like this that comes with a handheld remote, and then you can take your ceiling fan apart, your housing up at the ceiling, slip this in there, hook it all up how it says, hook it to your handheld remote, and voila. They're about, oh, I don't know, 50 bucks or so at the store. They have different types. They have one that you can install in place of your wall switch, and then you can have all your controls there, but then it doesn't have the handheld remote. So they have different things at the store. Okay, So I'm going to hook all of that stuff up and get ready to install the housing trim up at the top. Okay, so I'll get all these wires up there and push all that stuff back up in there and get set to go. You can do it. Now one last thing, with most ceiling fans, they'll give you the wire nuts. Now see how many wire nuts they gave us? Look at that. And usually they'll give you the orange ones. And because all these are stranded wires and stuff, but the wire that goes, the white wire that goes to the power and the black wire that goes to the red power up there, I might use yellow wire nuts for that. I don't know just yet. At least for the grounds, because I'm going to have 4 grounds. Remember, I got 2 here and two up there. 1 on the rod of the extension and 1 with the black mounting bracket up at the top. So because I've got 4 stranded green wires, ground wires, and then 1 heavy solid ground wire up there, I'll use a yellow wire nut on that. So pick and choose what you need. And you know, they didn't come with any yellows, so that's another reason why I carry that red thing around. I've got all kinds of stuff in there for anything I happen to need. I got some yellow wire nuts, and then the orange ones that I don't use, of course, I'll put in my little red satchel for next time.